Okay, so Nancy Pelosi's in the news today because it's important that we have Democrats in charge. So when they say, she sounds exactly like Newt Gingrich. So they were asking her about student loan debt relief. And here's what she said.
That would be an attitude that people would have. But even take it on top of that, suppose your family was not, your child just decided they want to, at this time, not want to go to college, but you're paying taxes to forgive somebody else's obligations. You may not be happy about that. But you know what? We want all of our...
So that's why she won't do student debt relief, because you shouldn't have to pay for somebody else's kid to go to college. That's what she said. I don't have kids in school. I pay taxes, and that funds the public school system. So what she's basically saying is that right-wing talking point of what against Medicare for all also is, why should I have to pay for someone else's health care? That's what this is. So this is the people the squad voted for. This is the people that the squad voted for. What's the difference between her and Newt Gingrich? You tell me. So that's basically when an ice cream social meets the Tea Party. You get Nancy Pelosi. That's exactly what she's saying, is that healthy people shouldn't have to pay for sick people. People without kids at school shouldn't have to pay taxes. Well, I fucking pay taxes for people at school all the time. And I gladly do it. I want people going to school. I want our populace educated as best as we can. And I want them to have health care, too. Only in the United States could somebody who channels Ayn Rand this hard call themselves a progressive and be believed by anyone.
Yeah, it really is remarkable, because that's not just a right-wing talk. That's like a far-right talking point.
That's exactly. That's not just, when I say right-wing, I mean far right-wing talking point.
Like, you could tell she almost hesitated. Like she even had a moment where she's like, should I say this?
Yeah.
But she went for it anyway.
Here we go. Let me play it again.
That would be an attitude that people would have. But even take it on top of that, suppose your family was not, your child just decided they want to, at this time, not want to go to college, but you're paying taxes to forgive somebody else's obligations. You may not be happy about that. But you know what? We want all of our kids to reach their fulfillment. To the extent that they want to go to college, we do not want them to be prohibited from doing that for financial reasons. I've had high school students come in here and say with their grades, they're able to be accepted in the Ivy League here and there, but their family's economic situation does not enable that to happen, because they have to stay close to home to work, to be part of the family situation. So what we'd like to do is have an economy that is fair, that gives opportunity, and does not hold anybody back because of financial reasons. And again, I'm not going to make it easier for kids to go to college at all. We're not going to give them free college. We're not going to relieve their student loan debt. And we're just going to say opportunity. We want them to have the opportunity to go to school, but we're not going to enable that opportunity. That's a big word. That's what we're denying anyone who isn't rich, an opportunity to go to college. That's what we're doing. That's what she's doing, Ron.
I like how she wouldn't use the word debt either.
Yeah.
The collectors and the banks and the predatory people who do the loans, they don't like that word. So she subbed out obligation at the last minute.
It was kind of the longest way to say young people go fuck yourself. That was what that was. Yep. It's cool that people get into politics so they can tell other people all the shit they can't have and all the stuff that government can't do for them.
It really is inspiring.
It's weird. Is she anything else to say here?
Some people may view the relieving people of this obligation has to be viewed in a fair way, where we have something.
She says relieving people of this obligation. She won't say debt.
She won't say it.
She'll
say obligation, which again, that puts it on you. This is you. This is your obligation. My atlas is shrugging.
Yeah.
Pelosi.
That gives opportunity. That's the big word. Opportunity.
Opportunity. That's the big word. Yeah, opportunity. That's the big word. That's what we're denying people who aren't rich. Opportunity, healthcare, shit like that. Good point, Nancy. It would be awful if the government used public money to do good stuff. It would be. Hey, suppose you're a pacifist, but you're paying taxes to invade somebody else's country and steal their resources for U.S. corporations. You may not be happy about that. I don't want to pay for that, Nancy. Look, this is just science. I only agree to pay taxes that fund the roads and bridges I specifically use. If it's not on my route, cut it out. That's what I always say. I mean, I have a million examples of slamming her, and I'm going to show you all of them because that's how fucking ridiculous Nancy Pelosi is. And anybody who with a straight face says she's not corrupt, horrible criminal, because that's what Nancy Pelosi is. She's a corrupt, horrible criminal.
Well, she never hesitates. I was just going to add, she never hesitates to tell you how much she loves Ronald Reagan, and
that's right.
She channels him every opportunity.
Here's another slam. Speaker Pelosi, I'm not happy about my taxes paying for tax write-offs for millionaires and billionaires, funding unabated military expansion, deportations, caging children. Yet here we are. This straw man argument to deny relief to millions of Americans in favor of the elite is bullshit. Glenn Greenwald says, if the Democrats are going to send someone out to malign and oppose a program designed to help people get out from their inescapable mountain of college debt, shouldn't they find someone who isn't worth $115 million to deliver the message just for the sake of appearance? Yes, Glenn's right. She's a 100 millionaire telling people you have an obligation and we can't help you because it would piss off some other rich people who have to pay taxes. So glad the squad voted for this instead of fighting for Medicare for all, says Nick is a Fred Hampton leftist. That's right. So glad. Imagine if AOC or any of the other members of the squad were as disgusted by this as they were by the grassroots marchers trying to get Medicare for all. That's violence. What Nancy Pelosi's doing is violence. That's violence against people's lives. This is the proud corporate tool and radical enemy of the people that the fraud squad elected to be speaker and got exactly nothing for it. I pre-apologize for committing this kind of violence. This is genius. You make the Republicans so despicable that these type of Democrats become the people's saving grace. This way, you can continue to be the only rich nation who charges for college and doesn't provide health care. Jesus Christ. Look, even ignoring the obvious, I would prefer not to pay for drone strikes. This is just the most basic fucking version of how taxes work. You pay for public schools even if your kids go to private. You pay for the DMV even if you don't drive. We live in a society. We have to tell this to the Democratic Speaker of the House, Ron.
Yeah. Yeah, she's supposed to be the alternative to that mindset.
Yes, you're right. You notice how the dumbest, selfish argument is never framed like New Yorkers may not be happy paying for their police misconduct suits. You never hear that. Or California might not be happy helping Facebook pay for the cost of developing in a wetland. It's only over things that help you that they say stuff like that about. Forgiving all student debt is $1.6 trillion. Our new arsenal of nuclear weapons, $1.7 trillion. How are you going to pay for it? Isn't that going to piss off people who don't have their own nuclear weapon?
Are any taxpayers upset by this?
Really? Nancy Pelosi responds when taxpayers are upset about the shit they're spending money on? Never before. She never got upset she never listened when we were upset about spending on war, did she? No. She didn't listen when we were upset about the $5 trillion upward transfer of wealth in the CARES Act. No. But now when you're going to get somebody out of student debt, she really cares if taxpayers are upset. Apparently acceptable to Pelosi, our taxes fund in military occupation, border walls, violent policing, and the industrial destruction of the ecological world, all with our sign-off. Apparently not acceptable, our taxes funding education and lifting people out of crushing debt. Farron Cousins says, I'd be much happier if my taxes were spent on someone else's kids going to college than if that money is spent on bombs and missiles. Straightforward. I like what Jeet Hare had. This is a good one by Jeet Hare. Sometimes he rips me and I don't like it, but sometimes he's fun. He says, this is a good argument against the government doing anything at all to help anyone. That's what Nancy Pelosi's saying. That's perfect. This is a good argument against the government doing anything at all to help anyone. Because it's not going to help everyone, so you can't help anyone. And people pay taxes for it, and they're not going to get. Beth says, Democrats keep doing shit like this and then blame Russia when they lose. Laugh my ass off. Holy shit, they suck so much ass. Remember this?
Now, Nancy Pelosi, that's Mama Bear of the Democratic Party. You don't mess with her. And
doesn't that turn your stomach, Ron?
Yeah, if she's Mama Bear, she got everybody freaking lost in the woods big time.
Yeah. So let's watch her vote for her. Instead of withholding her vote and getting something for us for her vote, here's what she did.
Pelosi, Ocasio-Cortez, Pelosi, Olson, McCarthy.
Couldn't giggle harder. I just fucked over my constituency. I'm officially a shit lib. I'm never going to fight for anything ever. I'm wearing white as I do this, as I vote for corruption. We didn't use our leverage. Fuck those people who want health care. I got mine. She is a professional climber, sociopath like most politicians. She's no different, and she's revealed it. And anybody still supporting AOC or anybody in the squad or Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden unapologetically is lost. Those people are lost. That's why you have people sleeping under bridges. That's why we're the only country in the world, Western country in the world, that doesn't provide health care for its people. That's why we've turned into Brazil. That's why we have the biggest income disparity in the history of the world. Like greater than medieval times, they say.
Yeah, you have to go back to like ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Like Richard Wolff breaks that down really well.
Yeah. So keep defending your shit lib. You helped get those people elected, and you demand nothing from them. What is the mentality of that, Ron?
There is none. I mean, it's like you. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing, is, especially everything that went on this weekend, like it just makes zero sense. Like you have to make demands of people in power. You have to make demands of them. You have to issue calls to action. You have to hold them accountable because nobody else is going to.
No, nobody. But I like how half the left shits on you when you try to hold your elected officials who you helped get elected accountable. Our live shows are back. August 4th, we're in Burbank. August 7th, we're in Chicago. We're going to Portland. We're going to Boston. We're going to everywhere. Go to JimmyDoreComedy.com for a link for tickets.